This is Bill Ayres on New York's 95.5 PLJ. We're back with our Community Connection show. And our guest tonight is David Ludwig. He is the Community Programs Director for Asphalt Green. Asphalt Green is an organization that helps kids to be fit and also to have some sports. A lot of sports, actually. Welcome, David.
Thank you so much for having me tonight.
All right, good. Now, the phone number for Asphalt Green is 212-369-8890. That's 212-369-8890. We'll give that throughout the show. And their website is asphaltgreen.org, A-S-P-H-A-L-T green.org. So we want to talk about this program, which really, you reach like tens of thousands of kids, right?
That's right. We do so much at Asphalt Green. It's a really interesting organization.
Mm-hmm.
The history is fascinating. At least I find it fascinating. If you've ever driven up the FDR and seen the parabola-shaped building in the 90s in the streets,
mm-hmm.
that's us.
Oh, okay.
And in the 70s, like 72. The city closed the asphalt production plant there.
Yes.
And a fellow by the name of George Murphy led an effort to get the place saved. And in 76, they got it landmarked. And then jumped forward to 84, they opened it as a community center and had, it had gotten renovated inside and had a basketball court and some multi-purpose rooms. And a year later, they added a field, which is one of our kind of signature spaces there up on the campus. It's 5.5 acres up there. And, so they added the field in 85. And then in 93, they built the other building. So there's two main buildings on the campus up there. And we call that the Aqua Center. And that has one of the only Olympic-sized pools in the city, and a fitness center and a variety of other stuff. So it was really 93, 94 that we became focused solely on sports and fitness, and stayed that way all the way until 2013, when we were lucky enough to open the second campus down in Battery Park City through a partnership with the Battery Park City Authority. And that really changed us from being that place with the parabola-shaped building on the Upper East Side to a real citywide sports and fitness organization, although our programs had grown before 2013, but still very interesting. And
well, that's a great little historical survey for us there.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's driven in New York, I think a lot of you probably, Tony's shaking his head, yeah, you've seen that, right, going up FDR Drive. I have too. All right, so this is where David works, folks, and he's the director of these community programs. Tell us about the programs. Let's start off with one that has a great name for it, and it sounds like something different than what it really is, waterproofing.
Yeah, so waterproofing is the name for our free Learn to Swim program that we run for public school children, and it's really unique for a couple of reasons. But just to give you a sense of the scale and then the program model, we invite just about 3,000 students from 45 schools this year. It's been about this scale for the past few years, to one of 5 locations, and they come during the school day with their class for a group swim lesson, and they come once a week for the whole school year. So we try to get them 30 lessons, and we, when they come, a lot of the kids, have never been in the water before. We focus mostly on second graders, just because they're old enough to kind of go through get themselves changed and onto the pool deck without wasting too much time. And then actually, funny thing, testing starts in 3rd grade. So we found that 2nd grade is kind of optimal because we don't lose them to testing for a few sessions every spring, as we get into the testing season. So we said, let's do 2nd grade. So, it's a really wonderful program.
So it runs 2nd grade, 3rd grade through middle school, is that it?
We focus on 2nd graders. So most of the kids in the program are 2nd graders who come. And then, so the following year, we work with the same schools mostly. Then the next year, 2nd graders come the following year, and so on and so forth.
So by the end of the second grade, hopefully they learn how to swim.
Hopefully, that's the plan. We test them on the first day, see what they can do, break them up into groups. We've got about 4 to 6 instructors in the water for any given class, depending on the size of the class, and we start working on the basic skills and take them through. So.
And the majority of these kids don't know how to swim, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost all the kids don't really have the skills necessary. A lot of them are have never been in the water before, and those are always our favorite success stories when you have kids who were scared in the beginning and at the end, they can do it.
They're like fish, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is a problem throughout the country, that kids who come from poor neighborhoods usually don't get to swim because they don't get to the beach, they don't have anybody teaching them, and there's a higher rate of drownings for kids like that, right?
That's right, yeah. It's African American children ages 5 to 18 drown 5.5 times more often than Caucasians.
Wow.
If you narrow in on ages 11 to 12, for some reason, it's 10 times higher. That's according to the CDC nationally. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a life-saving as well as a life-giving kind of instruction.
That's right. I mean, we really think, obviously everyone should learn to swim. Everyone should have the opportunity. It's a wonderful skill to have. And you're more likely to if you can swim. Obviously, it's just one other way you can stay active in your life, and it's so much fun. Who wants to be stuck on the beach in the summertime instead of being able to get in the water?
Well, I grew up in the city, out further in Queens, and I rarely got to the beach, and I did not know how to swim as a kid.
Yeah.
And I was afraid of it actually, and I swim all the time now. But not back then. And I wasted many, many years where I could have been in the water a lot more than I was as an adult.
Yeah,
so this is a real gift to give to kids, not only to save their lives, but to enjoy it, and also this whole question of fitness. And that's something that you're into as well.
Yeah, that's right. And, the great thing about the program during the school day is that, they get that exercise. So, not only are we teaching them a lifelong skill that they can have to stay active, but they actually log those hours of physical activity, which is so important, for the school day.
All right. And you have a program that isn't just 3,000 kids, but probably 30,000 kids.
That's
and
right.
That's the Access, the Recess program.
Yeah, so we call it Recess Enhancement Program, or REP. And this is a really wonderful, interesting program that started in 2001 when a parent of a child who had done some other programming at Asphalt Green came and said, "Recess is a disaster at my child's school. You got to do something about it." And that's really how it got started, and it's just grown tremendously since, and we're in 60 schools across all the boroughs except Staten Island. We're not there yet. And we send a coach out to the school to play with the kids and get them active during recess. So this coach has one mesh bag full of equipment, all simple stuff, and they are as positive as can be. Their job is to make recess
and have fun.
Yeah, just have fun and just make it active and safe for kids. And it's great for school staff too to get the support to make that happen. Because the reality is, at a lot of schools, they've got a lot of kids out there, and with a little planning and some help, they can just set up the playground better, give kids more options, and teach them games. A lot of kids don't know maybe a lot of the classic playground games that people may have grown up knowing, and so they need to be shown. And of course, they catch on and can play the games themselves. So it's really a wonderful effort.
What age are we talking about here?
We do elementary school, so pre-K through 5 mostly. Although there's some schools, if they have K through 8 or something, we'll work with them too. But it's primarily an elementary school program. All
right. Now here, this is something that is interesting to me. Do you have a program where the instructor is not only working with the kids, but working with teachers so that when that instructor leaves, the kids can have the program with other people.
Well, what we do is we help schools come up with a plan.
Okay.
So, in New York, you could have about a third of recess periods indoors due to weather over the course of the year. And we have a huge library of games and activities, and we have them all broken down according to how many kids and what age and what's needed, what equipment's needed, and
Sure.
et cetera, et cetera. And so we work out with the school, sometimes through trial and error, and we figure out, okay, when you have indoor recess, we can play this game with 15 kids in this spot. We put it in the plan. And same with outdoor spaces. Some schools, most schools have some kind of space challenge, and in New York, So we'll work with them, and we'll figure out ways, what works where, put it down on paper, and help them just maximize to the best of their ability how many kids they can get active in a safe and fun way. And then I would just add, it's actually interesting because there's this kind of ongoing debate about structure at recess and structured play versus unstructured play. And our position is that recess is absolutely free choice. Kids should be able to choose what they want to do and play how they want to play. But with big schools in an urban environment with all these different challenges, they really need to have some help just with making spaces for them where they're not, ending up in a chaotic kind of situation that's unsafe. So that's what we do. We teach them games, give them lots of options, and try to get them active for that 25 minutes of recess, because it could be the only time they have to get up and move. And, the research is really abundant these days. There's so much about how, getting the heart rate up really helps kids get back to the classroom and be productive in the classroom.
And it also helps kids to deal with diabetes and being overweight and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, kids need an hour of exercise a day. And so if we can get them active for 25 minutes right there at school or recess, that's a big head start for a lot of kids.
But my question, though, was, do you then teach somebody in the school to do these programs when you guys aren't there?
Yeah, we train school staff,
Good. Okay.
school aides, and to pretty much set up the games. Teach the games. The kids learn the games, on their own. It's really it's facilitating to make the space available and to just kind of help the process along.
Because I would assume that since you're limited in terms of the number of staff that you have, that if you go into a school and over a period of time, I don't know what period of time, you really get the kids interested in this and they want to do it, then you have to have somebody left behind who's going to be organizing this and helping them to do this. And that seems to me that you then have a multiplication process whereby you can multiply yourselves through the people who are already in the school.
Absolutely, yeah, that's definitely the aim. And there's a whole host of success stories about that, and also some challenges with just the number of aides available for the number of students, the number of lunch periods, and the way that they have to rotate kids through lunch periods and cover certain areas. So it's
a challenge.
The kind of situation where if we had unlimited resources, it would make it a lot easier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But now you're doing something else, though, that I found interesting, and that is community sports leagues for middle school kids. How does that work, and where are they?
So we started this about seven or 8 years ago. When I arrived at Asphalt Green, it was one of the things I was so happy to be able to do, and still run. And so we set up. We basically, Asphalt Green acts as the league administrator for flag football leagues in the fall, which take place at Asphalt Green on the Upper East Side on Saturday nights under the lights on our field, which is truly electric.
I bet.
The atmosphere is incredible. We have we'll have about 16 teams over the course of the fall, and every weekend there's a game. And so the coaches come from the school. So the coach is a teacher from the school, a phys ed teacher, whoever the case may be, at some middle school employee. And then Asphalt Green basically provides the refs and the uniforms and awards, and we put the schedule together, and we also support coaches. So we've had coaches, an art teacher who wants the school to have a team but doesn't know much about the sport. We can provide a staff person, a co-coach we call them, to just help with the actual knowledge of the coaching, the games, and all that stuff.
So what sports do you deal with?
Yeah, so we do flag football in the fall, and then in the winter we do girls and boys basketball leagues separately, and those take place out at gyms in Harlem and school gyms. And then in the spring we do girls and boys soccer leagues again on our field at night on Saturdays.
Wow, that's a great program.
Yeah.
Now let's give you folks some information here as you're listening to our guest, David Ludwig. He is the Community Program Director for Asphalt Green. Asphalt Green. ASPHALT Green.org is the website, and you can go there and find out about their programs. You could call them at 212-369-8890. How do people find out about your programs? Is it only through schools? Or if somebody was listening to us tonight and they had a child in Manhattan or in the Bronx or Brooklyn maybe, where you are, could they get their kid into the program?
Yeah, we work almost exclusively with schools through our community programs.
Okay.
We've found it's an efficient way to serve lots of kids,
Sure.
which is kind of our model. And anything we do through the school, like the kids in our community sports leagues, if they get a chance to represent their school, not only do they get the experience, being on a team and with a sport, but it's an opportunity to increase their school pride and involvement. So we work with schools, although we do have a variety of fee-based programs and competitive teams through Asphalt Green, not involved with schools. And we offer scholarships to those. Information's on our website. So we do have some opportunities for individuals to be involved, and as well as scholarships to our summer day camp as well.
Are you looking to expand the number of schools that you're in?
Absolutely, yes. We're always looking to expand. We're always looking for water for the waterproofing program. Is the one factor.
Give me a pool, any place.
Yeah.
Right.
Give us a pool, and we'll give you a program.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a way, if anybody's listening, you
Absolutely.
might want to talk to the school where your child is going to school and suggest that there is a great program that's called Asphalt Green, and possibly they could get that program into their school. That's how it works, right?
Absolutely.
All right, okay. So just wanted to get that straight, because there just isn't enough sports happening in schools these days, at least schools in the city. Not all schools, but there's not enough sports happening, and when they do happen, they happen for a small minority of kids who are talented and make the teams. And then what happens to the rest of the kids, right?
That's right. And one thing we try to focus on with community sports leagues is making it inclusive, so kids can get that experience. We try to have kids have a really positive experience, supportive experience, and kind of prepare them. Although we do want to prepare them to play sports in high school, because if they can go on and continue in high school, there's a lot of research that shows they're much more likely to graduate and move on. So what we do in CSL is we actually have them do these progress reports, which helps them with eligibility. So they understand that every week I'm responsible for this sheet, which is, my teachers have to sign off on, and it shows that I'm, meeting the requirements of my school. So kind of get them used to that before they get to the high school level.
All right, two more things I want to talk about in terms of programs. One of them is something you do, I think, once a year, the Big Swim, Big Kick.
That's right. This is our big annual event that we do every year. It's April 29th this year on our Upper East Side campus. It is a wonderful time. It's a free swim meet, and also a whole bunch of fun soccer activities on our field, all happening at the same time. And so kids ages 6 to 10 can come and get in the water and swim in a real race with a real, with their name up in lights, and they get to swim across the pool and compete. And get their time posted, and of course they get a T-shirt and a medal and ice cream, and we have Olympians there, and it's a big celebration of everything that we do. It's really a wonderful day.
All right. Let's go to the other end of the age spectrum now, because I know that you have a senior fitness program.
That's right, and this is something that we're really focusing on these days, and I'm really interested in and excited to do more with. But the reality is that since we opened, I guess when we opened the Aqua Center on the Upper East Side with the fitness center, we've had a good portion of members who are older adults and have always worked with them, and we've kind of built up some expertise in that area. And we are every year we work with a few hundred seniors from senior centers in Harlem with various partners. And we have seen such amazing results when we've put them through our program. So people that had a walker and are able to ditch it, or say that they're able to just go grocery shopping again and get around. And,
sure.
It's just amazing. And so we've decided that we really need to ramp up our efforts in this area, because some of the statistics are really staggering, and it's related to falls. And I don't know if there's the amount of trouble that falls cause in New York State is staggering. It's $1.7 billion in annual hospitalization charges due to falls.
Sure. And most of the falls are with old people.
Yes, that's right. And it's usually the case is once an injury is sustained due to a fall, it's a pretty poor pathway to more problems, more falls.
Oh, sure.
And so we've been doing a lot of work on this, developing some really innovative programming to reduce falls, and also just in a fun way, and we don't want to. It's hard enough for people that aren't exercising to get motivated and become fit, and so with the older population, we're really focusing on the fall prevention aspect of that.
Now, how do people get into this?
Well,
You do it through senior citizen centers?
Yeah, there's a few senior centers we work with in Harlem right now, and I guess like the schools, it's similar to that. We're focusing on serving people through our partnerships with the senior centers in the same way as we do with the schools. But we're hoping to bring our programs to scale over the next couple of years. So maybe next time I check in with you guys, if you'll have me back, we'll have more to say about our fall prevention programs.
Oh, that's great. And how do you fund all this stuff, by the way?
So Asphalt Green has a really unique model that's coming from a background working at various nonprofits. I was really fortunate that I was happy to land at Asphalt Green where we have this model, but we have our fee-based programs really help support the nonprofit community programs that we do. So we use that to earn revenue from the classes, youth classes, adult memberships, different teams, and so forth and so on, to support the programs. And that's not to say that we don't raise money. We still go after public grants and private private donors and all that. But it's a really nice mix that we don't live and die by the grant cycle for public dollars and so forth and so on.
Well, that's a good thing, because when you're totally dependent upon government or some foundation and they decide to change their priorities, whoops, there you go.
Right, and there goes your program. I mean,
exactly.
Those avenues toward funding are vitally important for our efforts, but it's not the only way that we fund our program.
Sure.
And that's really the key part of that message.
Did we miss anything, David?
Well, we covered a lot.
You sure did.
I think we did. Yeah, we are all about finding ways to bring sports and fitness to as many people in New York City as possible. That's our mission. We're very fortunate to have 2 campuses now, and are always hoping and looking for opportunities to expand our physical plants, and that's the basis of the programs that.
Tell us where they are again.
So our original campus is on the Upper East Side, which you can find on York and between 90th and 92nd Street.
Right.
And then our newer campus, which opened in 2013, is in Battery Park City, right down off of West Street on North End Avenue.
All right. And what this is all called, by the way, is Asphalt Green. Their website is asphaltgreen.org. Phone number 212-369-8890. Our guest has been David Ludwig, who is the Community Programs Director. And you're certainly a busy guy. You got a lot of good stuff going on. And I'm sure you're staying fit doing all this, just keeping up with everybody, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you for being with us. Thank you for staying up late and being with us.
No
Till the
problem.
next time, this is Bill Ayres, and I wish you much peace and love and hope, something we all need a lot of.